I'm Melissa Shanahan, and this is the Velocity Work Podcast, episode number 21. This podcast is for attorneys who are running their own firms. We explore tactics, tools, and stories related to pushing past simply lawyering well and into building a successful firm. Working in your firm and working on your business are two very different things. This podcast focuses on the latter. Hello, friends. Welcome to this week's episode. I am going to take the opportunity today to fill you as a listener in on exactly how we work with clients. You know, when I started this podcast, I did it genuinely just to start sharing information that I felt was really important, and I kept seeing over and over for clients that they needed reminders of, they needed to be accountable for, like all the things that I thought I knew would help law firm owners really excel with running their business and thriving, right? So that was the purpose of starting the podcast. Well, since then, as many of you have reached out to get to know us in one shape or form or another, I have realized that it's confusing to you, like you're not really sure exactly how we work with clients. And that makes sense. I haven't talked about it on this show, but I wanted to do that to just get clear. The other reason this is so perfect in terms of timing is that we've gotten a lot clearer this year, and we've really got nailed down our process and how we work with clients to the point that like it's a level of sureness that I have around how we work with clients that I haven't had before. I was always sure of the results that we could get a client. I was always sure of just exactly knowing that we could take them from here to there and do so in a really smart way. But the emphasis that I had wasn't placed on the correct things. And so since then, this has all shifted, and it's so much better for clients. Now, when a client engages us, it is very straightforward how we work together, and they always get results with each phase that they work with us in. So we really feel like we've dialed it in, and it makes sense to share it so that you guys know how the heck we work with people. And if it's been in the back of your mind, maybe you've thought about reaching out to us to work with you, then it's either going to, this episode is either going to make you want to accelerate that with us, or it's like, oh, okay, that's how they work. That's actually not what I'm looking for. Either way, I'm hoping this provides a bunch of clarity for you guys. I also think I know there'll be takeaways, whether you work with us or whether you don't, there'll be takeaways for how you need to think about your approach to growing your firm because of what we learned and because of what I'm going to share today. Well, let me start with this. When I first started Velocity Work, the way that we engaged with clients was to say, hey, we know you want to grow. Come work with us for 1 year. We're going to start by having your strategic planning session. It's a 2-day workshop or retreat where we get into a room and we, from top to bottom, create a strategic plan. And then after that, we will host a meeting with you every 3 months, every quarter, so that we can evaluate how the last quarter went. Are we on track? Are we off track according to the strategic plan that we had in place? We process lessons. We do all the things, right? Like it's a really meaningful process. And in between, we will have accountability calls, and we will support you through various methods. Well, that was true, but here is what I wasn't saying that was happening as well. In order for me to facilitate a strategic planning session, so that session at the very beginning, that 2-day retreat, I have got to have a ton of data. I have to really understand your business from the ground up. I have to understand what you as the owner want for the business, for the firm, but also for your life, right? Because this can look a bunch of different ways. Like we could take this in a bunch of different directions. So in order to facilitate well, I need that information. Well, I was getting that information, but it was almost like, okay, I was signing people up with this this idea that we're just going to work together for a year. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, we'll just get what we need to get in order to knock it out of the park. There wasn't anything wrong with that, but there's a couple of things that I noticed as time went on. The first thing that I noticed is that it is the beginning phase where I really have to learn the business and I really have to dig into the data and I have to understand the owner and I have to create, because I'm not going to work with someone without tracking. So I have to create a customized tracking portal for each client. It takes so much work and research to do that. Everything I just said, like it's intense. And it is such a big part of it. And I wasn't placing emphasis on it. I would tell them, oh yeah, and by the way, you're going to get a tracking portal. But the truth is that beginning stuff that I had to learn and do and create and that I have to learn and do and create for the client is so freaking important. And if nothing else happened, like if for some reason I got hit by a bus after I created all that for them before we even had a strategic planning session, if I had created all of that and I got hit by a bus, that firm was so much better off because of the fact that they actually understood and had so much information about their business. They had real data to go on. They had gotten clear about what they want on every level. It was quite amazing. And they had a tracking portal that they can continue to use moving forward. So it was like such a big piece of the process that I wasn't articulating very well. So time goes on. Okay. And as I get clear and clear about this, I'm like, you know what? I am not presenting this in the best way possible. Because here's the other thing. A 12-month commitment is a long time. I have made 12-month commitments with coaches and or consultants before. I know what that's like. It's a long time. And inevitably, the sticker price, there's some sticker shock because it is a big investment to just go ahead and commit with someone who's good, right? For an entire year. And it just makes it a little harder for people to get on board. So when I really sat back and reevaluated things this year, and I really looked at what we do for clients, the results that they get, the things that we do, all the features, all the benefits, everything, all of it that we do for clients. What the truth was that there's really 3 phases of work with each client. And so the clearer I got, I can break those down. And I'm going to do that for you on this show today. But the other cool thing is that, once you finish one phase, you have to commit again if you want to enter the second phase. So it's a whole new contract. It's a whole new agreement with the second phase. And then again with phase 3. And that not only breaks it up and makes sure that the firm owner feels in control of their journey, but also takes full responsibility for the results that they get. Like they're recommitting every time they say yes again, because they're happy with the phase they just completed. They want to keep going. That's great. Are you in? Like, let's recheck. I'm in. Are you in? So it sort of keeps the level of commitment really high and really hard when they have to commit at a couple different points on the journey with us, instead of just at the beginning of the year. And then, halfway through the year, life might get busy, or there's periods where they've kind of waned, their attention has kind of waned, and now they're back. And this nips all of that in the bud. Now what we have set up, the 3 phases. So let me tell you about the phases. The first phase, if a client comes to us, this is the only way we will work with someone, by the way. There's no other way that we will work with someone. And I can say more about that later. When someone comes to us and they're interested in growth, they do want strategic planning. They do want accountability. They know, like, they want to get clear on things. Like, that's all sort of the end results that we talk about providing for people. They're like, I really want that. Okay, well, let's start here. This is phase 1. Phase 1 is a full firm assessment. It is just holistic, comprehensive, top to bottom. And it's an analysis of your firm, and it uses past and present data. And it gives me this, but ultimately I'll be able to pass this to you. It gives clarity on the current state of things. And it also gives clarity on what needs to happen in order to take you from here to where you want to go. So it's a heavy, deep dive kind of situation. So how this works, if someone wants to do this, essentially the promise is you sign up, you're going to fill out a discovery questionnaire, not short, by the way, a long discovery questionnaire. I'm going to get to know you. We're going to have a call where we can dig in further so that I can ask specifics, like a targeted Q&A about you and your desires and the current state of your firm. I really want to understand. After that, I can take all of this information that I have now and I can look at it with an objective set of eyes and really start to look at, okay, this is where they are now. This is where they say they want to go. Based on where they are now, we have a lot of things. There's some key metrics that need to be tracked that aren't currently being tracked. I need to take note of those. And I start to build out a customized tracking portal for this firm specifically. And you can't just have a blanket tracking portal. You can. If you've never tracked anything before, it's fine to start with something that's very generic. I have offered that before on a podcast, a free resource. It's basically a Google spreadsheet that has been built out that you can fill in. But your business has some specifics that need to be tracked, and it's not going to be in a generic form like that. So I really build out a customized tracking portal where you can enter data and there's calculations built in where it'll automatically spit out the important numbers that we need to keep our eyes on. So that is specific to your firm. While I'm building that, I'm getting deeper and deeper understanding about your business because I'm having to build this tracking portal. And so then I can start to piece together a presentation essentially that I'm going to deliver to you that really covers, okay, this is where you are. I'm talking on a personally, this is where you are. This is how much time you're spending in the business. This is the amount of hours that you're working. This is everything that your current reality inside the business for you as the owner. And then we talk about the current state of the business from a data perspective and from a team perspective, and from a net profit perspective, and from a team cost perspective, and billable hours. If you do hours, if you're contingency based, then we talk about that. If you are flat fee, we talk about that. But basically, we just really get a concept of exactly where you are. And then I know where you want to go because of all the discovery work we've done. We talk about that. And I present to you sort of like, okay, this is where you are. This is where you want to go on all these different levels. These are your strengths as a firm. These are your areas of opportunity, which, by the way, is sort of it's a more positive way of saying your weaknesses, really. But truly, I don't use the word weakness because everybody's got areas of opportunity. I don't care if you're Ray Dalio or if you are Tony Robbins or if you are Melissa Shanahan or if you are a firm owner. It doesn't matter. Everybody has areas of opportunity. And it doesn't mean that it's like, that's what it is. So the other way to think about that though, is an area that needs attention, could use attention, will make big shifts inside of your business if it gets attention. So we'll talk about the strengths and the areas of opportunity. And we'll talk about, okay, if you want to get here, these are the kinds of things you're going to have to focus on in order to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to go. So this whole presentation is given. There's a tracking portal delivered to you, which, by the way, has your data. Once I get the tracking portal done, the client puts in their historical data so that we can analyze everything. So you've got like a really good foundation, a good base. And you've got a tracking portal you can use for the future, which is amazing if you so choose, right? Like you don't have to do anything with this once end of phase one is done. But that's phase one, is me handing you a full freaking assessment of your firm and everything about your firm. I always inevitably get to know your firm better than what you do from a business perspective. But that's okay because I'm going to give it all to you. I'm showing you, I'm providing it to you. I know what it's like to be a business owner. You're so busy in the operations of things that sometimes this piece, you don't necessarily have the bandwidth or the expertise to be able to dig into this for yourself in a very efficient way. So let me do that for you, right? Now, and I will say this, even teams that tell me, well, Melissa, I have all of that information for you. So I'll just get we don't really need to do a full, I know where my firm is. We don't need a full firm assessment. And I do track enough. I don't need a tracking port. Like basically people just think they can skip phase 1 and go straight to strategic planning session, which is phase 2. And it is never the case, you guys. Listen to me. You do not understand the level of depth that I provide you about your business in phase 1. And I'm unwilling to do it a different way, because that means if you do decide at the end of phase 1, hey, this is great. Let's move into phase 2, which is the strategic planning session. It's 2 days, it's geared around you. You come to Denver, we host you, and we basically lead you through a framework to get a really solid strategic plan. I cannot facilitate a solid, well thought out, deliberate strategic plan without all of the data that I present to you in phase 1. I can't. And if anyone ever says, let's just get in a room and do a strategic plan without that level of data and without that level of information about you as the owner and that level of information about just the inner workings of your firm, and they're willing to get in a room with you to do a strategic plan, that is not a strategic plan. That is a plan. You will come up with something, that's for sure. But if you don't know exactly where you're starting from, it's impossible to make a really smart plan that makes a ton of sense for the business. So I'm unwilling. I want to go on facts, not feelings. I want to go on data, because I have learned over the years that it's the only way to go. So we do phase 1. We get a full sense of the picture of where the business is. And if the client wants to, and they say, okay, great, this is awesome. Yes, I would like now that we know all of this and we have all of this data, I would like to get into a room and do a strategic planning session. Awesome. Okay, well, that's phase 2. So then they recommit to, it's like a new commitment. It's got a new investment. It's so that now it's like the investment is broken up into the 3 phases instead of the investment being so large for all 3 phases. Now the client gets to choose if they elect to enter into phase 2 and phase 3. So they have a lot of control. So phase 2 also, there's an investment there. We have the strategic planning session. This is my, it's easy for people to say that this is my jam. Like this is what I'm meant to do when I get into a room with a team and really walk through a solid framework that is useful and meaningful and deliberate, well thought out. I have a huge coaching background, and so the coaching element comes into it because there are moments that aren't really easy in these sessions for clients, and so I can help them meet them where they are. I'm meant to do this work, the strategic planning. So this to me is the most fun, the most rewarding, and it is always the thing that makes the clients so freaking happy, is to get into a room and really hash this stuff out in terms of a plan. That's phase 2. Then phase 3 is, okay, you have your strategic plan. So now the last piece, with or without velocity work, is you have to implement this. Now it's the execution phase. And this sounds easy, but there's so many times people go back, they have the best of intentions and they go back and they may not follow through with everything because life gets busy and they are stuck sort of in the operations of the business and yada, yada, yada. And so this is like, if you want us to be a part of the execution phase, then that's excellent. We will happily do that. And so this phase is really execution and partnership. So if we're a good mutual fit at that point, then we spend the next several months during your execution of that strategic plan. We provide ongoing accountability. We provide quarterly meetings to process the lessons, measure the progress, make adjustments, all the things so that you are as successful and staying on point as possible. It's a really beautiful partnership. But again, clients get to decide. They have chosen, yes, I want phase 1. Yes, I want phase 2. And now they get to choose again if they want phase 3. And the cool thing about having phases like this is that at the end of each phase, there is only a win if it's not a good fit, right? And the client and Velocity Work decide, okay, no, probably not the best decision to work together moving forward. Everybody still has won. Like, we've gotten to do really fulfilling work for the client. The client is walking away with information and that they never would have had before, with resources they never would have had before. And so everybody wins. And that's the beauty of how I love how things are set up now inside of Velocity Work. It's almost like, you sign up for phase 1. If you decide not to go to phase 2, that's fine. You are walking away with a gold mine of information that you didn't have otherwise. And then phase 2, you walk away with a strategic plan that makes a ton of sense and has been built from exactly where you are. And it's not just a sounds good strategic plan or wishful thinking strategic plan or a plan based on anything airy-fairy or pie in the sky. It's based on data, your current state, and where you want to go. There is a very specific bridge that's being built during the strategic planning session. So, and then phase 3 is, hey, you want us a part of this journey? We would love that. We have tools and services and resources for accountability and for your meetings quarterly and da-da-da-da. So like, sure, we would love to support you in it. And so the investment is more doable for each phase than, when I was first signing on clients. The investment was, depending on the size of the firm and their needs, anywhere from 24, I think, thousand a year to 35,000 a year. And now it's like, you know what? That level of commitment feels heavy to me, and it probably feels heavy to the client. I would rather have someone that opts in at every phase and is really engaged in every phase, and the investment doesn't freak them out or stress them out. And the return on investment is very clear when it's broken up like this. And the truth is, what we charge for each phase, each phase costs something different, but what we charge for each phase is the results that they get are well worth it. Like, there's way more value that we're providing than what we're charging. And I love that about these phases. It's my favorite thing. It's like more bite size. And even though, yes, it's still an investment, what they get for what they're paying is remarkable. So everybody wins. This is how Velocity Work works with clients right now, and will for the foreseeable future. This has been working so much more smoothly with clients. Clients are just pumped about what they're getting for their investment. We are getting to work with some of the coolest firms. I'm just so honored. And if you have signed up to be a client, you know who you are. I love the people we work with. Everybody that reaches out to us that decides this is a great fit. They are incredible humans doing incredible things and have a fire in their belly for wanting this firm to grow. And they're so much fun to work with. They really let us dig in with them. And it's such a privilege. And that's the other thing I'll say about Velocity Work is that I know we have like quote unquote competitors out there, and I don't focus on that. I focus on how to continue to improve our product, our service, our experience for clients, and just keep bettering ourselves, right? But what I know for sure, just, when I do lift my head up and I look around, there's other people out there that might be doing something similarly, but I I hate to say it like this because I don't want to offend, and there's no way I can know what's behind the curtain of businesses that are out there providing similar services. But the level of integrity that matters to us when we're working with clients is so deep in terms of we will not cut corners for the client. We know what it takes to get the client on the right track for themselves. And it's a unique and individualized and customized process every time because there's no blueprint for your growth. There just isn't. And so the level of care that we bring to learning you and getting to know you and getting to understand you and getting to learn and know and understand your firm is, I take pride in that. It is the thing that brings me a ton of joy is to really dig in with you about your business, not just walk you through a blueprint or a framework that everybody else is going through as well. And you get a pretty good plan on the other side. Nope. No, we are a very different partner than that. So I take a lot of pride in knowing that. And we're always aiming to improve. So it's been a pretty wild and wonderful journey to this point. And we're growing quickly, and I am so excited for the future. And I'm excited that I got to share with the listeners exactly how we work with people. So there's 3 phases: the full firm assessment phase, the strategic planning phase, and then the execution and partnership phase. And we don't start anywhere but phase 1 with clients. So if you want to learn more about those 3 phases, go to velocitywork.com/begin, and it kind of high level give you information about the 3 phases. But then there's a place for you, there's a button you can click to get phase 1, more details about phase 1. And you can sign up for a conversation with me if you'd like. If you're interested, it's always good to have a conversation before you sign up, because it is, it's in depth, and I want to know, and I'm sure you want to know, and have a conversation. We should have a conversation together about the work that we're going to be doing together before we get going. So there's a place for you to do that. I am excited to see who we get to work with this year. This quarter, I will say, so we've had some people sign up for phase 1 just recently, which is amazing. And we have a bandwidth for probably 3 more at the most in the beginning of Q1. And the reason I say that is because I'm taking some time in January and February. I need to take a step back. My husband and I are welcoming a son into the world sometime in January. And so I'm going to take a little bit of space for that. And it's important to not overload the company while I'm stepping away. So I will be back and be able to wrap things up and tie a bow and make sure that phase 1 is delivered impeccably for clients. By in April, you should expect to have phase 1 delivered to you in terms of presented to you. The end of phase 1 would round out in April. Everybody else we've got should finish up in March. So if we take 3 more, I will have plenty of bandwidth to make sure that we do a great job with those 3 and deliver it in April. So if you're interested, go over there, go to velocitywork.com/begin, and you can get more information about phase 1 and you can get going. But if we have more than 3 people interested, there'll just be a wait list, and I'll be able to have a better read on how much bandwidth I have come March, so that I can figure out, okay, now we can start to make headway on the wait list. So yeah. Well, thanks guys for listening. I hope this is helpful, especially for those of you who've reached out and understandably said, "Hey, how do I work with you as a coach?" I'm not just a coach. That's not what I do. It's a partnership with Velocity Work. So, And I'm proud. I'm pumped and proud about the way that we're doing things. And I hope that clears it up for you as the listeners. Well, happy New Year, everyone. It is just around the corner. I hope you're doing something fun to celebrate and kick off 2020. And I hope 2020 is your best year yet. I hope you just dig in and really start to make the things happen that you want to make happen. So much love for you guys. Thanks so much. Happy New Year. Bye. Hi guys, it's me again. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it, and I hope you did, please subscribe so that you get real-time updates whenever we drop a new episode. If you want to continue to hang out with us, come on over to our website and check out how we work with clients. It's our signature 3-phase approach that we use with law firms to achieve growth on their own terms. Head to velocitywork.com/begin for information about those 3 phases and how you might get started if you'd like. Again, that's velocitywork.com/begin. If there's a topic you'd like covered on a future episode, or a question you have, or someone you'd love to have interviewed on the Velocity Work podcast, go to speakpipe.com/velocitywork. Leave us a voice message there. It can be anonymous or not. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to hang out with us on social, come on over to Instagram. Our handle is velocity.work. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/meetvelocitywork. Cheers, my friends, to real growth and a great life. Bye, guys. Show notes from this episode can be found at velocitywork.com/podcast.